Hello and welcome to Creative Writing Techniques. This is the first tutorial that I'm going to give you, and it is going to include a lot of techniques that I expect to see once you begin doing more than just free writing. When you actually are trying to improve the craft of your writing and the style, it will be very important that you start to use these techniques, especially if you're looking to earn an A or a B in the course. So the first technique that I would like to employ is actually, or that I would like to discuss, is alliteration. And alliteration is the repetition of beginning consonant sounds. So if you look at the slide here, it says, with some people, sunshine burns slowly though through even the darkest nights. So these repeated S's right here, that is alliteration. Also here you'll see slipping under the soft and easy silence. What alliteration does is it actually creates a nice rhythm for the reader, not a too obvious rhythm. So you don't want to make your work sound like a tongue twister so that the reader is paying more attention to your use of alliteration than to your content. How you want to use alliteration is very carefully so it's not obvious that you're trying to use it, but instead it will lend a musical quality to your writing. What's important for you to know is that alliteration doesn't just mean that the words start with the same letter, they have to start with the same sound. So it's the same sound that is important here. So the s. So if you had an SH and it made the sh sound, then that actually would not be alliteration. The next technique that I want to talk to you about is assonance. And this is the repetition of vowel sounds inside of words. Again, notice that I'm stressing sounds. This has nothing to do with whether or not you see a lot of E's in a poem or in a piece of fiction. It has to do with that long E sound or that short E sound being repeated. So if you look at this example here, we have, I am free to bleed what I believe onto the paper as I write, weaving poetry. So here these long E's, free, bleed, believe. Notice that I didn't highlight this one because it doesn't make that long E sound. The long E in weaving, and then look at the Y here makes that long E sound. In the next example, hold on to those who know your heart. Again, it's that long O sound. Notice I did not highlight on to because it's ah and oo. It's not that oh, 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 oh. Again, you want to use assonance so that it helps you create this rhythm in your writing, but it's an understated rhythm. It should be secondary to your content, but important in the rhythmic quality of your writing. The final sound device that I want to talk to you about is called consonance. And consonance is the repetition of consonant sounds anywhere in the words, so beginning and middle. So the way that it's different from alliteration is that alliteration only happens at the beginning of words. In consonants, it's a little bit more advanced. So you will find those sounds repeated throughout the words. So for example, here we have whispers fell silently as I slipped in and out of sadness. So all of these S sounds, that is the use of consonants. I like consonants a little bit more than alliteration because alliteration can kind of get a little obvious and in your face. And again, you do not want your sound devices to take precedence over your content. So if you notice here, the use of consonants, it's understated, but it creates this beautiful rhythm. In this final example, we have oceans of adolescence come here to learn lessons, but never learn to swim. So those S sounds, they create that rhythmic roll off the tongue feeling that I would really like to see you employ in your own creative writing. Thank you.